Well, hello everyone. We are here on Fango Radio, and live we are interviewing Indiscreet Jewels. How do you feel tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Your music is very interesting for me, and this is why you're invited here. I would like to know where you dig your inspiration. What is your music made of?
Well, we have numerous influences. I can name krautrock, Japanese noise, some psychedelic rock. We like British esoterical underground like Coil and Psychic TV. We are inspired by Russian 80s, 90s kind of new wave bands and experimental scene, and also about several ideas in music uh, about chance, like aleatorica or stochastics, which was made by Yanis Xenakis.
It's very interesting because you were talking about Xenakis and so on. I heard some reference that sounded very mathematical and very mechanical and prepared, but your music strangely sounds for me more like a ritual. Something's very free and out of the math and any kind of control. This is like, from where does it come from? Like, because also it feels like more you could improvise for hours and the music will just flow.
Exactly, because for us it's very important like to have this pop music hook element, which is actually very ancient tradition to play with repetitive ritualistic music, which everybody without background can do, and we try to balance between this comprehensible stuff and kind of unpredictable, a little bit confusing even sometimes for us as the players of this music, because we reproduce in our practice rehearsed elements, but try to sometimes break this chain and go in spontaneous musical trip.
We celebrate music. We really celebrate. It's in contrast to the current situation, social criticism, which has been become more like a natural artistic gesture. But we try to keep this celebration as a core of creation. This moment, which, for example, can be connected with Pan. This is god of ancient Greek Pan of wild, and we just used the reference to ancient Roman poetry and epigrams, which dedicated to Pan, to the wild, to the source of life and chaos. We try to keep structure in our music as a line of order, but as a line of chaos. We all time reproduct, renovate, refresh, and reimagine this structure.
So you're somehow trying to structure a chaos in a way.
Yeah,
I think we should. No, yeah. No.
the agent of chaos or
Yeah.
order.
But we are not just in this binary structure.
Also mention saxophone because
Yes, yes.
it's some element which is kind of new for us, and Andre played, and this instrument is very interesting in music because it's also have these two sides. One cliche is kind of sweet 80s music, and another is more like free jazz, radical experiments in the same time on a more like free-form jazz scene, and Andrei reproduced this kind of strange strange man is playing saxophone, like on the border of music.
Yeah, it's no longer noise, but not yet music. For Xenakis, the noise is just a kind of background when he create like a feature of music. But for Stockhausen or for intuitive approach, there is no they are not discrete chaos and cosmos, for example. There is no discretion, there is no features and backgrounds. They have more deal with process, with kind of I don't know, DAO and stream of life or something like this. And there is no death and alive. Everything is in between death and life, study and so on. So concentrated on the event of sound, event of playing music. It's closer to theater in this sense. But not about the composing of music, but of playing music. And we are in between every time, between composing, between ideas, more rigid ideas, more clear ideas of how we should play. Mostly Alexei working on this way or making like an structure for us. And at least me and we are with Yana, we are
Alexei is agent
more
of
intuitive
order,
players.
Andrei is agent of chaos.
No, Alexei works
Diana
with
is
chaos.
in between. Yeah.
I'm between.
It's above order.
It's
and,
above order, and then
chaos.
in the
Yeah,
end
just a
it
draw.
is above. We all above all it. It just for us it is just a background. We just can explain only background through words. We cannot explain.
Do you know Victor Hugo?
Victor Hugo, yeah, I
He
read
A friend of me told me that he was saying that music is noise that think.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful.
Will you say
yes,
this?
yes.
Would you agree with
Yeah,
Victor Hugo?
absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting. I want to now go on the more direct human part of your music, which is the singing, which is like the instrument, which is like you're the instrument. It's yourself, it's your voice. I can hear that you sing in English and in Russian. Can you tell us more about this and also about your lyrics?
One of our main theme, it's the experience of non-linear time and something like eternal recurrence. And we use references, how I said before, to ancient Roman epigrams. But now in our new works and tracks, which we have been playing today, we continue with direction, but through the German Romantic poet Hölderlin and his verses, very famous verses to Detima, philosophical verses. Detima thought was a real person. She was a philosopher and philosopherin. Sorry. Philosopherin. In time of Plato, she's associated with the theory and idea of Platonic love. But other essential moment in Hölderlin poetry is a ecstatic festivality and celebration. We still try to celebrate it, like a music life, and this celebration of contemplative glorification of death and life, and this is like a sort of
typical romantic.
Yeah, but
ideas,
personally, driving force for us in our art, what we do, what we can do, and this moment of celebration very essential.
Do you want to speak about your gear, or for you gear doesn't matter so much? It's just a tool. Do you have something to say about this?
Yes, it's really important, but it's just a medium. Medium. I can use also maybe just an empty
Bottle
bottle.
for percussion, for example.
Yeah,
Very
something
good.
like it. I don't think it's so important in sense of music in general.
Mm.
You can produce music from everything.
I totally agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, but I prefer the good quality machine. I feel myself super confident with King Cork.
Very great. Very good. Are you scared of AI?
At least for music, it will be important for me. For example, I would prefer have something like a helper, little helper, who will help me to produce music more sophisticatedly. Who can, for example, write notes for
But
me?
do you know that actually nowadays there's already some AI that are creating art?
Yeah,
They are
sure,
programming.
a lot
They are
of
taking
examples
random
already, yeah.
pictures. Some people think that they deserved credit from a bought art that made from an ear they programmed. What do you think? Who owned the arts? I mean, I don't want to go in this like who should own the arts, but like it's already going on, and some AI are also able to, with algorithms, they put in their kind of brain a lot of metal music, for example, and they've created like a 1 hour metal jam, and it sounds fucked up, but it's their own stuff.
It was the same situation in every time of in each special moments in history of culture when nobody knows who owns the art, who was the real author. Just an old idea that the genius received kind of inspiration and words of his verses, for example, from the sky, from the heaven. A painter from 19th century or 18th century, 17th century, they paint according to principles of conventional representation. It was already like a medium, like a skill. If you want to be a painter in this time, you should fit to these techniques. It was like a slavery system. You should be a slave of the medium if you want to be a good genius artist like a Rembrandt. In this sense, who owns the pictures, who owns the masterpieces? Rembrandt, or this system of conventions about how human face should look like, or how genius should behave.
So if some aliens end up with one of your records and listen it, how do you think they will describe it? It's a brilliant question from VBK, an amazing techno producer.
Sexy and fun. Yeah, I think for them it will be even more like easy listening music.
What was your favorite concert that you played, and maybe a crazy or funny story?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't accept one of the concerts. But I love the places where we played. Loophole.
Okay, thank you very much. See you soon on Fango Radio.